of staff, folks here to assist and question. This is really about you and not about us. Give you an opportunity to ask questions about the property. So I'm going to briefly go over a couple of slides just to set the context and really turn it over to you to ask questions. So again, this is Barbara Jordan 2, Upper South Providence. It's 26 three-family buildings situated on just under 3 acres. Again, 26 units, 26 buildings, 74 units. Scattered throughout the neighborhood. Just wanted to, this morning we had the opportunity to go through one building. So let me just address that. Due to safety issues, that's why we limited it to one building. However, next week we'll have all the unit counts for each building posted on the website. I strongly encourage you to go to the website often, because that's how we're going to communicate updated information. Go to that website. So we'll have the apartment roster with the unit count up there next week. By the 15th, we're shooting by July 15th to have a virtual tour on the website. So you'll be able to see all the buildings at that particular time, or representatives of those buildings. So that's what we're shooting for, so you can have an opportunity to see the conditions of the building. Here's just some pictures of the buildings, the exterior of the buildings. A couple more here. This is, again, some interior shots. These are some representative of some of the better units. What you saw today was representative of like a better unit there. Here's a couple other units. As you can see, this is not in good condition. Again, some interior shots. Quite different than what you saw this morning if you're on the tour. Again. So that's pretty much what we have in terms of presentation. I really want to open it up to you at this point. If you can ask questions, I know a number of you are on a tour and didn't have opportunity to ask those questions. So.
I have a question. How long have these buildings been like just sitting there, like uninhabitable, like and vacant?
So we took possession of the site in June of 2018. At which time at that time it was vacant. It had recently moved out 34 tenants. So it's been completely vacated since June of 2018. Prior to that, 34 units. 34 tenants were in the units. I can't remember the breakout or how many units were out.
Yeah. The last tenant left the property in 2017, January 2017. But there were a number of units that were vacant, and they were vacant over time as the Providence Housing Authority could relocate the residents.
Very good. Ralph Cole. I want to go to your scoring matrix that you put in the RFP and ask you for clarity on the Rhode Island construction firms. There's 5 points in the scoring matrix, but then there appears to be 5 bonus points. Is that additive, or is there just 5 points for Rhode Island-based general contractor?
So it's 5 points. It's 5 points for Rhode Island-based general contractors, and additional 5 points for NBWNB, woman-owned, minority-owned.
Thank you.
So could you sort of speak to the schedule? There are some inconsistencies in the RFP on the schedule, starting with there is no indication on when you hope to make a decision, a selection, a designation of a developer. And then there's some other inconsistencies. So could you just kind of walk us through how you envision this process to occur?
So I was supposed to repeat the questions, right, Stacey?
Yes,
Oh, we are set. So the question was regarding scheduling, in terms of making the selection, scheduling in terms of making the selection of a developer.
And all the way to the completion,
So
just to be
let me-
clear.
Let me
Okay.
unpack it, so let me
Okay.
answer the question in terms of scheduling first. The schedule, we anticipate making a decision and selection of a developer in the fall. Applications are due August 30th. We have staff here as well as some outside members that are a part of the selection committee. So I'm anticipating early fall, probably around October. But as we get closer, we'll inform, but that's the initial timeframe that we're shooting for. Okay. So the second part of your question is scheduling for the project. Is that what you're referring to? So as part of our contract with HUD, they're dictating that we have units back online 24 months from date of purchase. So it's 24 months from the date of purchase. So 2020, June 2020 we're supposed. Now we realize that given this, redevelopment effort, that that may not be realistic, and we're going to have that conversation with HUD. But so the schedule that's in there is based on the contractor set with HUD. So that's the 24 months. Anything to add to?
So, but there are points in the RFP to be responded to by August 30th about really are driven by the schedule. So how do you select? Does everyone just say they're going to meet the schedule? Little help here. It's really very inconsistent in the RFP about there's a 24-month ready to proceed. There's this June 20th date. There's this December 2021 date. You've just referenced the acquisition. Whose acquisition? Rhode Island Housing's acquisition from HUD, or the developer's acquisition from Rhode Island Housing. The MAKE just kind of is doing this, and with no clear guidance about how one would put a proposal together to meet it.
So why don't we post all of that on the website? Thank you for bringing that to our attention, and we'll put it up on the website so that it clearly outlines exactly what benchmarks you have to hit. If there's more questions, you can send them in via email, and we'll get that information on.
Well, so it's related, so let me follow up with it, okay, which is that you're talking about negotiating with HUD about some relief on the 74 units by December 2021. So would you have that negotiation before August 30th? This is really a critical piece, so I'm really just asking. So, I mean, I can kind of put the dates together. I don't need it up online, but it really is very critical. Is it really a hard and fast date? Is it 74 units? Is it progress toward the 74 units? What do you have to get done by December 2021 is really the question.
I think we have flexibility with HUD around the date. There's no flexibility on the number and the income target.
That are done by December 21st, or there is flexibility on the completion of the 74?
There is flexibility on the date of completion, just not on the number of units of the income target.
On the one for one.
Any more questions?
I have a question regarding the residents that were relocated. I know during the engagement process, not many of those residents, I was maybe hoping to see the people who really are impacted, who are residents that were relocated from the development. Is there a way that this information, I know they have the right to return, all that kind of stuff, but just trying to understand the engagement with them as well as, throughout this process, if anyone's interested in, trying to move forward. That's a big piece for us to understand what we're dealing with the relocated residents.
The question was the engagement of the 34 tenants that were residing on the property that has been relocated off-site. Again, we are coordinating with the housing authority past the relationship with those existing tenants. Actually, Keller and I met with the housing authority yesterday to talk about this. There appears to be some some commitment to improve that coordination. We want to make every effort to engage in this process, but we have to work through the housing authority.
So throughout the public process, you referred to 34 site-based Section 8 certificates. I'm going to use the word committed. I don't know if that was the word. Available, committed to this project, and there is no reference to that in the RFP. So could you talk to that?
There is no commitment of project-based subsidy at this time. That would be incumbent upon the Providence Housing Authority to agree to do that, and they have not agreed to that as of yet.
And then you finished with the as of yet.
As of yet, yes. I don't know if they will agree to project-based, and we're hopeful that once a developer has been selected, that developer or developers will enter into negotiations with the Providence Housing Authority to see whether or not they're willing to put that subsidy back into the development.
Since I'm going to be on this track. So to circle back then, so I was going to ask what you're actually expecting for proposals on August 30th, because without that commitment, it certainly changes the monetization of any redevelopment plan. And so if you can't do that, all of the modeling that's referenced, pro forma modeling, is to the tax credit model and the home model, and kind of send you to the guidelines and so forth. So an apples for apples proposal system is, again, it's kind of like the schedule, is that you've referenced the tax credit, you've referenced home, you've referenced all the obvious sources, and you've used the LIHTC scoring sheet as a guide, though it's been modified. So again, just say, what do you want to get on August 30th from all these developers in the room so you can make a good decision? Because I'm going to say my team has read through this many times, and we all have a different opinion of what we think you're looking for on August 30th. So,
Well, it's really what your vision is for the development, not what we're looking for.
not the vision. This is the numbers. I'm really talking the numbers.
Well, like any other application that you have to file, Colin, you have to make some assumptions around what you're going to be able to achieve as a developer. And if you think you have the relationship with the Providence Housing Authority and you can get them to project-base a number of units, or you can be successful in securing 811 vouchers, then you absolutely should model it that way.
I'm done. You got one? Oh, wait a minute. Carolyn says I have another question. It's over later.
Ralph Cole again, back to your scoring procedure. There are points for the affordability, bonus points for the affordability period. And my question has to do with, so how far, there is a baseline, of course, that we have to commit to for affordability. Beyond that, is there did I miss that, or is there a 50, 80 year? I mean, is there an incremental bonus points for how far out one is willing to go on the affordability?
So this is one of the things that is really pulled from the community feedback that we receive in terms of affordability. And so beyond the 30 years, if you have, commit to maintaining affordability, we want to give you bonus points for that. Beyond the 30 years, we give bonus
Right,
points.
and you may not know, I just want, is it 50, is it 80, is it perpetuity?
We just said beyond the 30.
Beyond 30,
Yeah,
okay.
beyond 30 years.
That's good, okay.
You should be aware, though, that different funding sources
Right.
will have
Right.
different bonus points
Yep.
associated with funding, right? Whether or not it's state bond funds or federal home dollars or other funds.
Thank you.
One more money question. So you set a price and said it's firm, but that it's subject to an appraisal, and that's okay. But then you talk about the carrying costs. So the carrying costs from when you bought it, or the
Yes.
carrying costs from when we bought it. So are you gonna put that up on a per diem basis? It's costing you X number of dollars a day from this point forward on the basics? So you're gonna put that up on the website?
We can certainly do that. Yeah, we can give an estimate. We can let you know what we've incurred to date with the fencing and everything else, the dumping. I mean, it's probably not going to be spot on because we never know what dumping is going to occur and its cost, but we'll do our best to get a benchmark up here for you.
Are you aware of any like hazmat testing that's been done, environmental testing that's been done?
No.
None? And like the condition of certain parts of the properties, or just sort of, we should just go in making our own assumptions?
Yes.
Yes. My envision is that once a developer is selected, then there's going to be an opportunity to spend more time in terms of investigation and honing in on their financing. So this is that first step. Once the developer is selected, then you're going to really get to the point where numbers. We all understand at this particular time, it's really kind of like, here's the skeleton to a finance package. Not, so it's really boiled down after you're selected. Okay?
Except the financial piece that is different in this over the tax credit piece is that the weighted percentage of the cost, which is stated lower than what tax credit has been consistently for the last 3 or 4 years. So the vision doesn't really seem to be as important as the cost. The cost really seems to be on the scoring sheet, the number one, I'm going to say, issue. So that's kind of, and it's different from the tax credit. So it's subject to the tax credit, but it's very different from the tax credit, and it's much more heavily weighted than a tax credit application is, which is pretty heavily weighted on its own, and the numbers are considerably different. So is it the numbers, or is it the vision, or is it the income levels?
What we're trying to incentivize is creativity on the developer's part. So we're making some assumption that tax credits, 9% tax credit will probably be a part of the capital stack, but we don't know that. It could be home ownership, it could be rental. So we're leaving up some flexibility. So it's not, you're correct, it's not a tax credit scoring sheet. So we want to leave some flexibility to evaluate those proposals. It may be a mixed income development or a mixed use where it has rental and home ownership. So we wanted to keep that, that criteria open.
I apologize if I missed it. Is there any specific funding earmarked for this besides the typical LIHTC and home funds and PHA? Nothing? Other than the potential vouchers from the PHA?
So that hasn't been committed. We hope that.
So one last schedule, and then I'll leave so you can end it if you want. So what is not also in there, we all know what the sources are, the schedule, the 2020 schedule for tax credits, home, and all that. In order to attempt to meet that 2021 date, really kind of have to project an estimated, if nothing else, schedule of what those application dates would be. So I just think that's sort of fair to the process.
That's a fair question. That's something else that we can pose to you from a timing standpoint, future funding. So we'll look at that as well.
You usually do tax credits at this point, if you're going to change it because of this process, or you're going to change it for any other process.
I don't think we'll change the schedule, Colin. We haven't talked about changing the schedule So tax credits should be back on the typical October.
Well, that's the question, Carol. It's been January for the
Yeah, I
last
know.
7, 8, 9, or 10 years,
I
so.
know, but we are ahead of the game in terms of getting our QAP out the door this year, unlike past years.
Okay.
So I'm hopeful October, maybe November at the latest, unless something happens here that I don't foresee and we get held up in terms of getting our ground up.
That's a big change. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's a huge change. Huge change.
I misunderstood your question, but we
Yeah.
communicated that about, expediting the QAP process, so it's out.
No, you always talk about hoping to be able to do it
We've
sooner,
done that,
but
so
it's
the
not
board,
anywhere.
We mentioned that, it's up, and so it's in public comment now, with the goal of having it done, and a funding round, applications due by like December or so. So we've made that commitment in terms of the QAP.
Are you, as the agency, are you up against any bond logging cap constraints, or do you?
No, taxes, we have no constraints in terms of housing.
Okay.
Does the bidder have to have a performance bond in place?
Yes, they will be required. Any more questions? Well, thank you for your interest, appreciate it. Again, I strongly encourage you to check the website often. We'll be communicating and updating that often. And so if you have additional questions, submit them to us. Stacy, we're accepting questions up to, when? I thought we had a date where we were accepting questions and responding. Chris, no?
No, we'll take questions, and post the answers periodically. If you signed in and left an email, we'll notify you when there are updates. If we stop taking questions at some point, we'll also notify you.
We notify us in advance that your next deadline will be current.
Thank you.